Hey everybody, Clay Archer, CEO, DBC Technology, and I've got a great one today. Today we're going to go over the new Unifi Protect 6.0 software. I don't do a ton of Unifi software releases, but I thought this one was pretty big. And as I started to dive into it, I thought it was worth a video. So if you like these, please let me know down in the comments and I'll continue to do more of them. But anyways, let's jump into the software real quick and I'll show you the big updates from the 6.0 release. There are a lot of items in this release. I'm not going to go all of them. I'm just going to cover the big ones that I think make the biggest impact. So with that, let's get in here. So the first thing you'll notice here on the dashboard is that there is a new item called Spotlights. And you can see I've got a few spotlights already created here. If I click on this first one, it's called Delivery, and it's going to show me every time that a delivery truck showed up to the office. When I created that, I said delivery truck, and the AI did do basically delivery trucks, but then I said, you know what? I want that to be a little bit more specific. And I said on my next one, I said I want it to be every time an Amazon truck comes up, I want it to be identified. So this is every time an Amazon security truck came up in front of the office. You can see it's not perfect every time, and we can adjust its accuracy a little bit, and we'll go into that when we create the next one. You can also do it for people. I did one for Mallory here to see when Mallory came around, just to test. So anyways, I'm going to click the little arrow here, and it's going to bring up the pane where I can set these up. So first and foremost, when you create a new one, you're able to give it a name. You're able to say what kind of object you want to look for. Is it a known face, an activity, a license plate, or an AI spotlight? And you can just type in here in real text what you want it to be. So I can type in here green shirt. So I've already done it before. I said green shirt with a person in a backpack. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that one. And when I said before on how I can set the sensitivity, I can make this more broad or more precise. And you'll see that this little slider is in a bunch of different options. This is kind of a unified interface here on a bunch of different places where you're using the AI. You can kind of dial it in by saying, I want this to be more precise, meaning it won't have as many detections, but may miss something, versus more broad, where it's going to have more detections, but may get some false positives. And you can play with that. It's really pretty cool. And I can go to spotlight iteration. I can go continuous for a limited time. And I can inactivate it, and then I can just click create on that. So now what it's going to do is every time somebody goes by with a green backpack, it will do it. You also notice up there, it gave me a little notification that it was created. But now if I click on that spotlight, it's going to show me every time somebody went by with a green backpack. Now you'll see that wasn't very accurate. That's a green shirt, but I'm not getting the green shirt. I'm getting the backpack, but I'm not getting the green shirt. So what I can do is I can go back into that spotlight by clicking the arrow over here, and I can go into manage, and I can go into that spotlight, which I did not name, and I can say I want that to be more precise, and I can dial up that precision, and I will apply changes. And now when I go back over there, it's saying there's no events because nobody with a green shirt and a backpack's walked by. But it will be more specific there. And I can dial that in. I did that in real text there, but I could say known faces, like I did the one for Mallory there, and I can click known faces and just highlight any of the known faces or multiple known faces. I can go back to LPR, and I can go to any stored LPR, license plate recognition, that we have. And I can also go into activity and just choose specific activities, whether it's a line crossing. So on that AI dome, I've got these line crossings. So I could say, if I go across this line in the AI dome, it is going to trigger that activity. So pretty cool stuff, pretty powerful. And the ability to go back and kind of manage that after the fact to get it dialed in. Really cool. I tried to come up with some ideas there that would be, typical things that you use. Obviously everybody wants to know when the Amazon truck showed up. Also, you could go in and do notifications on that as well if you wanted to, but just in general, I think this is a great way for it just to pop up on your screen there. If there's something you want to notice every time the pool guy comes by, or every time, the serviceman comes to work on a pump or whatever, you can type that in and be very specific about what you want to see. So that's the first thing. That is Spotlights. Really cool addition, and I like it being here on the default dashboard. Also, just real quick, if I go and I create another one, I'm going to do another one here, and we'll just go known faces, and we'll go Jana on that, and we'll go continue. You'll see that it rolls down and it will have multiple rows here. So you can put more than just 4 there, it will roll down to the rows. You'll also see here in the default dashboard, there is quite a bit of information on the default dashboard. All really cool stuff. most active cameras, more detection time frame. And these are a couple of sensors that I have around the office giving me some information there. So that's Spotlight. No need to do any searching. It's just going to automatically pop up for you there on your dashboard. So with that, let's go on to dwelling times. Now, this is a pretty cool one. I'm going to do this here on fixed camera. This is my AI turret at the front door. And you can see that the white Honda here has been here for 1 hour and 43 minutes. That's pretty cool, and it will do it for all the different vehicles that it sees. So basically, it's just saying how long is that vehicle there, and it's just done on your overlay. So to get that to show up, you need to go onto your overlay there and choose that object idle time, and it will show that to you. If you take it off, it will not show it to you, and you put it back on, it will show it to you. Really cool stuff there. So one thing I will show you here on PTZ cameras is that overlay doesn't work quite as well, because you can see everything here saying that 6 minutes and 45 seconds ago it was moving. That's because the camera moved and picked up a target and followed it, and as soon as the camera moves and follows the target, it will reset the motion on how long everything has been stationary. So obviously it doesn't know the difference between the camera moving and the vehicles moving. So that is one caveat. I think that this feature works best on your fixed cameras and not on cameras that are in fact moving. But it is really cool to see how long an object has been stationary there. So that's a cool added feature. I really do like it. One more thing that I will say before I leave here and go to the next panel is, and this is a huge one for me, I've been talking and asking for this for maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years. If you've been following my videos for a while, you know when I first got the G4 PTZ Industrial, I was asking for this button, and it finally came. And you'll see here all of my buttons at the top now change colors when I click on them. So I've been asking this for forever. If you have a PTZ, you know that going to mouse control and using the mouse to control the function is pretty cool. But before, it didn't kind of let you know that it was depressed, and you didn't know whether you had keyboard control or you had mouse control. And now if I just click the button, it goes from white to blue. This is a super awesome update. It's very small, very subtle, but for me, it makes a huge difference, especially for controlling PTZ cameras. This is really awesome, and it works for everything. If I have anything depressed or anything checked, it will turn blue, and if I don't have anything checked, it will turn white. Although it is small, it is really appreciated. So that's it for those updates. Let's go to the next panel, which is Find Anything, and you're going to see this is a really amazing upgrade. This is a super powerful spot now. You can see they completely redesigned this, and they've done a couple of really things. First off, they've made it so that you can just type what you're looking for. So let's come in here, and I already just typed in before that person with the green. You'll see that search history followed me from that spotlight window earlier. I'd noticed that before, but that's really cool that it does follow you. So if you search for something over and over again, it will be down there in your search history. So let me go ahead and search there for a person with green shirt and backpack. And when I click on it, you'll notice, bam, it's everybody that's got a green shirt and backpack. And here's that same more precise to more broad slider. And I can, in real time on this one, go ahead and click that. It takes a second for the AI to go do its thing. But the more precise I drag that, the more it is just people with green shirts. And the more broad I go with it, you're going to get more, people with other colored shirts, or maybe things that aren't quite backpacks. This is really powerful. And you can see on our install here at DBC Technology, we have a big ENVR with 514 days of recordings. They go back to 8 months ago. The problem we start to get to with this many cameras, and most people do, is sifting through the data. And the ability to quickly come in here and search through that and then kind of be granular on it, that's really powerful. But it's even more powerful. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to get rid of the green shirt, and I'm going to say Amazon delivery person. And you'll see here really quickly, it's going to show me all of the delivery people. Now, there's going to be a few false positives because people at DVC Technology walk around with boxes, but that's pretty doggone accurate. And so not only can I use the slider here, but I can even be more specific by choosing cameras. So I'm just going to go in here and choose a bunch of different cameras, but exclude a bunch of cameras. And so now I've got 8 cameras in there. I don't have a bunch of the other cameras. So it could be more and more specific as to where you're looking for. And of course I can go back into that list, and I can go, I don't need that one. I don't need that one. Let me do this one. And you'll get more or less, as needed. Really powerful. And the cool thing is that you can keep rolling these things in on top of each other. So I can sort by best match, most recent, can also go by days. So let's say I want to go, I didn't need it for June. I needed it for all the month of April because we're looking for something that went missing. And I can just click all the month of April and it's just going to show me all the month of April. Super, super powerful. I'm going to go ahead and kill that real quick and show you some stuff you can do without having to type in a description, but like maybe you're just trying to sift through data. You can see things that have been flagged. I've probably not flagged anything, but if you had flagged stuff in the past and you just want to go back and review that, you could click flagged. You can type animal. This is pretty cool. So I can go in here and go just animals. I'll go into a specific camera. I'm going to go into, let's go into an AI turret here. Now this is inside the office. There's not going to be a lot of animals, although boom, here's Sketch. And you can see every time that Sketch was in the office. Not only that, you can see that the grid came up on the camera and I can go every time what Sketch was in this part of the office. And it's only going to give you recordings where he walked down into this portion during that viewing. Really super powerful if you're trying to find specific things. Always got to get Sketch into a video. I'm pretty happy that he was at the office and he got tagged. I'm going to go ahead and kick out of that. We'll kick out of animals. I can do line crossing, loitering. Let's go to loitering here. It's a pretty cool one. And these are just staff members that are hanging out at the front door, but it's going to show you anybody that's loitering, standing around for a while. Pretty cool stuff. Also, you can show anybody that had door access if you want to go back in and look at specific door access events. And next thing you can do is audio. These have been around for a while. They're speaking, barking, siren, transcripts, car horn, and baby crying. I haven't done transcript before, but I guess that's going to be any time the AI did a transcript of a detection. That's pretty cool. Then there's also person, and I can do female and male. Again, just the ability to kind of narrow things down. And I can then look at their clothing. So every time there was a male with purple on or a female with purple on, you could choose multiple ones as well. So if I wanted blue, obviously everybody at DPC Technology wears blue, so that's kind of an easy one. You can choose different colors and boom, 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 boom. It's going to just choose the ones of this. Pretty cool stuff. Same thing with their lower clothing. You can do upper and lower clothing. I'm going to go ahead and choose these. And when you have things that are mutually exclusive, like I can't do clothing and sound, so if as soon as I try and do something where I'm doing it, it will gray out the other things that you cannot do during that same search. So I could do a male wearing green clothes that crossed the line or that was loitering or something along those lines. All pretty cool stuff. I'm going to take off person there and I'm going to take off clothing. And then you can do accessories, hat, mask, handbag, helmet, glasses, backpack, all really cool stuff. You saw in one of the Unifi release video for the AI horn, they were talking to people on a job site that crossed the line not wearing a helmet. Pretty cool stuff. You can also do clothing type, suit, coat, shirt, hoodie, pants, shorts. Let's get a lot of pictures of Daniel because Daniel always wears a hoodie. Same thing with Andrew. Yeah, pretty easy targets there. We can also go down into vehicles and choose vehicle colors. That will just choose vehicles that are green or vehicles that are yellow. You do that for each vehicle color. Pretty easy, works pretty well. You can see there will be some false positives there, but the ability to sift through that data is much, much easier using those filters. Vehicle brand, this is a new cool one. It's got all of these brands. Some of them are European and Asian brands that you probably aren't going to find, but it's pretty cool. If you want to see who drove by in a McLaren, obviously there's not going to be any McLarens that drove by, and these are all going to be false positives, but it is actually pretty good. If I go Honda, it is pretty good at just finding Hondas. That's a Honda, that's a Honda, that's a Honda. And it really helps, again, just sift through hours and hours and hours of data without having to go through it. Again, up here at the top, you can go by people detection, but that's where it's got a detection of a whole person, a face detection, a car detection, and a license plate detection. And the license plate detection is where it actually read the license plate. And you'll see also that this is a common UI interface throughout Protect now, where you see these icons that you can sort by these different things. One more thing, powerful thing before we get out of here is the known, unknown, and POI. So if I'm on face detection, if I click unknown, it's only people that haven't been registered. If I click known, it's going to be only people that are registered. If I go person of interest, it's only going to show me people that are persons of interest. And if I click the little gear, it's going to let me assign people to be people of interest. Really cool stuff there. Super powerful. Really nice to be able to do that on the fly. Also, when I go into license plate recognitions, I get the same thing. Known, unknown, and vehicle of interest. And then I can configure that by going in and looking at each one of them and tagging them as such. Really super powerful stuff if you're trying to get through there quickly. So that's pretty much it for this screen, but I'm going to use this screen to find a incident that I know happened where I can show you another cool way to get around some information. So I'm going to go into AI turret here and let's go down a little bit. Daniel was doing some stuff earlier today. So I'm going to use this particular instance of Daniel coming through. Now I am in a playback here. You can see I've got my whole interface here where it's saying a person in a gray hoodie is unpacking boxes from a cubicle surrounded by computer monitors and office supplies. That sounds pretty cool. So I'm going to play this until Daniel turns around and faces the camera. Probably could grab Daniel at any time here. But when I do that, it's going to say scanning object. It's looking at Daniel. It's grabbed Daniel here. And if I click on Daniel, it is going to bring up this window here of what they call re-ID results. So these are people that is re-identifying in different places. So if you've got somebody that has gone in front of a camera and you want to see where else that person was, you can use this. Again, it's got the same slider here to be more broad or more precise. And it's pretty accurate on Daniel, so I'll go in the more precise. Daniel always wears his UNF hoodie, so it's pretty easy for the camera system to pick out. But as I go more precise, it did actually pick some cameras that were, some shots that were further away. Yeah, so it did catch him more. It's got him out in the parking lot on a different camera. And so anyways, by just looking at this one instance of Daniel, I get to see where he was throughout the building and on the different cameras. Just pointing out, it does take an AI key to do this. You can see down here, this text was written from the AI key. The overlay was done and the re-ID was done from the AI key. But this is another super powerful way to get more information and not have to sift through 20 cameras and tons of data to try and figure out where somebody went in the building. Really cool, awesome time saver, and a nice added feature. So with that one, I'm going to go now to Playback. There is a lot of cool information now here in Playback, and you'll see in Playback I'm getting all of the different incidences of things going by. I could go to people here and it'll show every time somebody was walking by. So that's pretty cool. You can go to specific detections and watch somebody get detected and walk by. All pretty cool. I can jump around from camera to camera there. All pretty interesting stuff. But what's even more cool about it is now I can go and get more information down here. I can get every face recognition. So this particular one, I've got a face recognition there. I can get, like I said before, a vehicle and a license plate. So this same kind of icon status is there across different parts of the UI, which is really cool. Again, all unknown, known, and then I can click the gear and get specific to add people or take people away from that list. All cool. You can do it on the fly. Really interesting stuff. Another neat bit here is the graph. If you go to the graph here, you can see the kind of detections you were getting for each camera. Really cool stuff here. I can see, if I wanted to count number of people, I get that question a lot from people that run retail areas where, can I count the number of people that walk by? Or can I count the number of this that happened? And this is giving you some insight into that. It's showing you the whole smart detection zone, and it's giving you the ability to edit there. I could also change the detection zone if I didn't want. And in this spot here, I probably would change that detection zone to not have the road included there. But the ability to be able to have that information and change it on the fly is really cool. And I think people are going to really appreciate that. At least certain people will, that are looking for that kind of data. I can also roll through the different cameras. A couple other things that are a little bit different here. You got this multi-camera playback view here. If I click that, I can select multiple cameras. These are my outside cameras, which I often use for playback, and it will just automatically roll into those outside cameras for playback, and then you can scroll through the timeline there. Again, the theme behind most of these features is to be able to scrub through a ton of data quickly and be able to identify stuff quickly and accurately. Last thing I want to go through really quickly, actually there's two more things. They've added some stuff to Alarm Manager. I'm going to go ahead in here and click Create Alarm. And I'm going to go, let's go Face ID here. I'm going to go Known Faces, and I'm going to go Specific Face, and let's go Adrian here. And I'm going to say on the AI turret, which is out the front door, and then I'm going to go a webhook here. If I wanted a webhook here, let's say to notify a team, put a Teams message in a Teams channel. I could create a webhook in Teams and then post it here, and then go under advanced settings and go post, and then put in some headers here to test this out. I'm not creating this right now. But the issue with this before was I didn't have a way to test that. And so I'd have to have Adrian walk out front, click in front of the door. And this is a little bit complicated to set up a webhook. Not that it really is, but it is something that you would want to test. Well, they've added this new feature called test alarm. And I can click here and it's going to say this will trigger the defined action for this alarm. Are you sure you want to do it? And I can click test alarm, and it will automatically just send that webhook. Again, another known face here, and I'm going to go specific face, and I'll go Adrian again, and I'll go that AI turret, and I'm going to go unlock. And I'm going to have him unlock the main door. So anytime that Adrian presents his face to the front door, it will work. Now, I don't necessarily need to have Adrian there to test that. I can go to the front door, click on test alarm here, and the front door should open. If it doesn't, then I know I've got something wrong, and I'll go back and I'll go through my process here. As I've been playing with Alarm Manager and testing it, I go back over and over again to things that I'm trying to make work and have to test it. And just having the test alarm button there, for me, will be a huge feature and a time saver. Also on your AI triggers, I just added an AI trigger with that same green person with the backpack. It's giving me on this slider now, it's giving me this preview option. So just by clicking that button, it's going to show me what in the past it has gotten for alerts there. So that's super helpful. Again, when you're setting up these alarms, it takes a lot of trial and error. So the ability to preview and test them is super helpful. They have also added one other thing in that webhook that I mentioned before. If you go into authentication here for custom webhook, you're getting some expanded authentication options here, basic and bearer. So for those of you that need it, I'm sure that is going to be a welcome change. And the one last thing I want to go into real quickly is the logs. If I go into logs, the ability to search here and the different categories they have has been expanded. The audit trail has session history, configuration changes, and recording access. So you can go in here and search through all those things by specific categories, by who's doing them, by specific devices, and you can go in through here and look for any specific things. You look for admin activity, site activity, detections, IoT activity. Logs are never super sexy or whatever, but you need them when you need them, and it's nice to have them there and available to you when you do need them. So that's my review of the main features of the new Protect 6 update. Like I said before, I will put a link to the release notes. There are a bunch of bug fixes and other tweaks that they've done to the UI that are included in this that I did not cover. Feel free to peruse that and see if there's anything there that sparks your interest. Also, please let me know if you like these software update reviews. I may do more of them if enough of you say that you like them. Also, please leave any comments or questions down below. I do play with Protect on a daily basis. So if you can't find one of these things, just let me know and I'll point you in the right direction. As always, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.